Hello and welcome. You're tuned into Market Sense right here on ET Now. Let's cut across then to Kaushik Basu, Chief Economic Advisor, who's currently addressing the media.
And also, the drought-like situation, though today morning we've been blessed by showers, the drought-like situation is creating some pressure on food prices. So with that, I expect inflation will again move back above 7% beyond that, but it should show a dip below 7%. The SLR, I answered the question. SLR is basically creating more space for banks to lend to the private sector, which right now will not be picked up by banks immediately. So I don't think you are going to see an effect of this SLR lowering immediately on markets, but it's creating a space and giving out a signal that that's the direction in which the RBI wants to go. That's indeed the direction in which the government wants to go, whereby you encourage the private sector to borrow more and invest more.
So you said...
Let Malik take over.
Can you say that the situation is just like this inflation because the growth is down, inflation is up? Various agencies have also said this thing. The government has always denied it. What do you have?
Shishir, no, I'm with the government completely on this. It's not stagflation at all. Stagflation basically means growth coming to a halt. And India's growth right now, I mean the last figure that we have, 6.5%, is nowhere a component of stagflation. If the growth begins to go down to 1%, 2% even, then you will worry about stagflation, but we are nowhere near stagflation. And inflation also, 7% inflation is not good. We want to bring it down ideally to below 5%. But 7% inflation, when it is being backed up by growth which is 6.5%, which is real growth, means nominal GDP is growing by something like 14% or so. So part of that 14% is being eroded by inflation, but a huge part is still remaining. So every year India has more food, more clothing, more of everything by 6.5%. So there is real growth going on, there is inflation. And again, to take some historical examples, if you look at some of the most buoyant phases of countries like South Korea in the 1970s, growing at very, very rapid rate, 8% per annum, also inflating at 20% per annum. Compared to that, our inflation is 7%, growth a little bit less, 6.5%, but you average out growth, we are growing like South Korea in the 70s, inflating much less like South Korea. So, cross-country comparison, India is still in very good shape.
One more.
Malik will...
Sir, the question is, you just said in your speech that, we get against corruption is a big problem in India. And you also praise the civil society as most of their views are see the kind of government and the civil society. There is no good part that we can see as of now. The civil society is sitting over them, the government not accepting what they want to say. On the general part bill to assist your retirement day, we expect you to speak openly on this. What do you say?
Yeah, that's exactly the wrong day to ask that question, the retirement day. So the General Lokpal Bill, I can't get into that kind of detail. But I like civil society pressure because government, at times the pressure becomes a useful rallying point even for those within government to do something. But the blueprint needs a lot of professional input. You know, one thing which is very easy to misunderstand, when you hear this very often about black money, that why don't you just go and freeze these accounts wherever you have any doubt. If you do that, you are going to crowd out a lot of legitimate activity because what is legitimate, what is illegitimate, that line takes a little bit of time to find out. And take another area, Indian money abroad. There is illegal money abroad, but there is also today India is a globalized economy. There is a lot of legal money abroad. If you begin fear-mongering that wherever an Indian has an international account, you're going to go after that because you want to bring back Indian illegal money stored abroad, you will bring legitimate business to a halt. Growth will come to a halt if you go with a very ham-handed instrument trying to control corruption. So corruption control, again the analogy is a bit of a deadly analogy. It's like in the human body when there are difficult tissues, malignant tissues coinciding with healthy tissues. You can't go after that with a sledgehammer. You need very, very intricate policies to extricate that. Even when Germany decided that a lot of German money was being illegally kept in Switzerland, it took several years to sort this out, to pull this money out. So the pressure is very welcome, and I like the pressure from civil society that is coming on us.
Well, that's Kaushik Basu speaking about a variety of things, including something that has been on top of mind of a lot of people, that give amnesty to black money, let that come in. He's just defending the government's argument of not going ahead with this step, as most people believe they should. But anyways, that's besides the point. The news is, of course, that the rates have been unchanged and the market hasn't taken it too well.